Within 2 minutes, we will start.
Please unmute yourself, sir. Prashant, what is?
Yes, yes. Am I audible now?
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Okay. There was
unmuted that.
Yes, yes. Audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I heartily welcome all of you in the Langley's online lecture series day 11. Vishnu, kindly unmute your mic.
Are we going live now?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes. I am hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Wait. Ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wait. I need to. Yes. Now it is okay. Okay. Shall we start? Okay.
Yeah,
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I heartily welcome all of you in the Langley's online lecture series day 11. At the outset, we the team of Langley need to thank all the participants who have joined with us by logging Zoom app regularly and those who are watching, enjoying and learning with us live on Facebook and YouTube channel Langley's Educator. Thank you very much for your love, words of appreciations, blessings and academic support. We have been receiving overwhelming response from all over India and abroad. Nationally and internationally acclaimed academicians are going to deliver their talks on various aspects of language and literature on that is not the end of lecture. We will arrange such lecture series every now and then. We will try our best to during this lockdown period. We are giving unique certificate to each and every participant, but participants need to Zoom participation screenshot or YouTube channel Langley Educators subscription screenshot where you have watched all these videos to the email ID eLanglit motivator. Designer is working on the certificate. Very soon you will receive the Google form link. We are not generating certificates by the Google forms. We are working on the certificates manually. It takes That's why it takes time, and you need to approach me through mail or mobile number after 7th of May. You can www.langdit.org. So let's share and grow together. Friends, today we have with us two young and very bright academicians, Dr. Leena Jadhav ma'am and Dr. Vishnu Patil sir. Let me introduce first Dr. Leena Jadhav ma'am. Dr. Leena Jadhav ma'am will talk first, and then Vishnu Patil sir will talk about his topic. Let me introduce first Dr. Leena Jadhav ma'am. She is a full-time professor at College of Engineering, Pune, and PhD in English grammar. She is currently working as a full-time. Prior to this job, with Indra College of, she has been imparting training and soft skills to undergraduate, postgraduate since 2004. She has experience of learners of English. She is a recipient of Jewel Award at Indra Group of Institutes. She has conducted faculty development, uh, teach, uh, teaching at engineering and management colleges. Her article on English language journals. She has played a pioneering role in establishing ILTAI and has been nominated as the Joint Secretary of ILTAI Pune chapter. Friends, we have Vishnu. There is too much disturbance.
Yes, sir. There is a lot of disturbance.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Is it fine now?
Yes.
Okay. Now it's okay. Friends, we have also with us Dr. Vishnu Pati. He is Assistant Professor of English and Coordinator of IQAC at Devgiri College, Aurangabad, Maharashtra. He has 11 years of teaching experience. He is a recipient of Maharashtra State Level Avishkar Research Award in 2016. He is a PhD supervisor. He completed 2 research projects and he is currently working on 3 projects. Uh, he, he has published several books and research papers. In 2019, he received prestigious Bryden Scholarship and was invited for a talk uh, by International Shaw Society at Nigeria, Canada. For the same project, he has also received hidden travel grant of 1,000 USD dollar into August 2019. Uh, this is the introduction of these two young academicians. First, let me invite Dr. Leena Jadhav ma'am to speak on her topic. Uh, the title of her talk is the title of her presentation is Using Technology to Teach English Grammar. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you for that lovely introduction, sir. At
Thank
the
you.
very outset, I'd like to congratulate and thank Dr. Murthy for creating this platform for educators where we can learn from each other. As sir rightly said, my topic is using technology to teach grammar. Over the years, teaching of English grammar has been an object of perpetual interest for both linguists and ESL experts alike. There have been a lot of arguments regarding the pedagogy of English grammar. Whether to teach grammar or not to teach grammar, if at all we teach grammar, how it should be taught. Whether to follow the prescriptive approach or the descriptive approach, to follow teacher-centered approach or the student-centered approach, whether to follow inductive approach or deductive approach, whether to follow traditional grammar or the structural grammar or the TG grammar as framework to teach English grammar. So there have been a lot of debates. Personally, I believe as teachers, we should follow eclectic approach. We should try to make use of each and every tool available to us for the benefit of our students. It is a common experience that we often come across students who are structurally competent but communicatively incompetent. It is very essential that we follow the communicative approach while dealing with our students. That is, we give them tasks. And while performing the tasks, they consciously or unconsciously learn the usage of a particular grammatical concept. So they learn by doing. That is called the communicative approach. That is the reason it is often suggested that we should use an integrated approach. That is, we use all four basic skills, listening, speaking, reading, writing, to teach a concept in English language. When it comes to English language teaching, we have two things, face-to-face teaching and online teaching. Face-to-face teaching is nothing but offline classroom teaching, where we meet our students face-to-face and we are dealing with them. There also we have a lot of different tools available. And nowadays, what is in fashion is online teaching. Because of lockdown, we all are reaching out to our students online. I personally feel that the ideal approach is the blended approach, where we meet our students face to face. At the same time, we are connected with them online, maybe via WhatsApp group. That's something that I personally follow. If you like Telegram, you can use Telegram. If Instagram, and try to give them some activities throughout the week so that they are connected with you. What I personally have experienced is through this experiment, students get comfortable with the language, they get comfortable with me, as well as that helps in shedding their inhibitions towards English language. Now, let's see this. When we're talking about online teaching, this particular course has become quite viral over internet. That mobile was not allowed in colleges and schools earlier, but nowadays entire school is inside your mobile. This reminds me of a news. I came across this particular news item on television, and I was really inspired by this person. This person lives in a village and there is poor connectivity in his village. So he climbs a tree and sits on the tree where he gets network and calls his students and teaches them. That's really inspiring, isn't it? There is no excuse for an inspired and self-motivated teacher. When we're talking about online teaching, we are entering in the domain of digital pedagogy. Nowadays, what we are experiencing is nothing but digital transformation of teaching learning process. What do you mean by that? When we talk about digital pedagogy, when we're talking about online teaching, we have two ways of meeting or meeting our students or teaching our students. One is the synchronous mode. Synchronous mode is real-time teaching, real-time meeting. Like at present, you can view me online through this Zoom meeting. I can conduct Zoom sessions for my students, so they are meeting me in real time. That obviously has got its own advantages because I can see my students listening to me. I can listen to their doubts. They can ask me questions. I can clarify their questions. At the same time, I can stop in between and I can ask them some questions. Another mode is asynchronous mode. That is not real-time teaching, where I send them some material and they go through that material on their own and respond to it whenever it is convenient. Now, asynchronous mode is a flexible mode where both teachers and students can select a time that is convenient for them and send material to their students. Now let's see what are the technical tools available to us. You can see these tools: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, Bluetooth, Hotspot, and an n number of the tools that are available. Does that make you feel excited? We have a plethora of tools available to us, waiting for us to master them and exploit them to the fullest to make the teaching learning process more effective and fruitful. When we talk about teaching learning process using technology, we often hear about TPACK, that is technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. So you need to have technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. Let's try to understand this in detail. Content knowledge is nothing but the information and the understanding of the topic that you're going to teach. Traditional teachers often use this method, that they were more giver of information, and they also had pedagogical knowledge. A teacher who has got pedagogical knowledge, that means you know how to teach. You're using different methods to teach your students. So pedagogical knowledge involves understanding of various theories as well as methods and strategies to teach your topic. As well as it involves understanding of the types of students you have. There are visual learners. There are some learners they can read and understand. But every learner is not a visual learner. There are learners who are auditory learners. Sorry. Then they need to listen to someone talking to them about the topic. Some people find it better if there is audiovisual provided to them. Some
Sorry
students
for the interruption, ma'am.
Yes.
Your voice is not audible.
Okay.
Speak loudly.
Am I audible? Yes. Now am I audible?
Yes. Speak loudly a little bit.
Okay. Fine. Now there are some learners who are kinesthetic learners. They need to be involved physically and emotionally in order to learn the topic well. That is pedagogical knowledge. Then we have technological knowledge, using various digital technologies to use to teach or give practice to our students. Now here, what do you think is the most important? If we have to prepare a lesson plan using TPACK, we can't begin with technical knowledge. We have to begin with content knowledge. So the lesson plan involves studying your topic very well. Your content knowledge is your foundation. You need to be well versed with your topic. Once you have studied your topic very well, you decide upon the teaching method, whether you're going to give individual activities to the students or pair activities or group activities, whether you're going to use the method of lecturing, or you're going to use the method of discussing with the students, whether you're going to follow a teacher-centered approach or a student-centered approach. It's all is the decision of the teacher. After deciding your teaching method, that is pedagogical methodology, you select the technical tool. We just saw various technical tools that we can use while teaching, reaching out to our students. Now, I think it's better if we discuss a lesson plan, a practical lesson plan rather than talking theory. For example, if I want to explain my students the difference between the simple past and the present perfect. Now here I suppose that I have already taught them simple past tense. So I give them this topic, write a paragraph or record a speech on the topic, the most memorable day of my life, and post it on this WhatsApp group. Students do this activity. Now this is asynchronous. They will find out time and whenever they are free, they will do this activity and they will send me their recorded speeches or written texts. Technical tools used here, audio recorder or WhatsApp or Telegram, whatever medium you want to use. Once I receive my students' responses, I give them feedback and then I may just send them this revision lesson on WhatsApp. You can select again your medium, whatever you want to do. You can even send them audio recordings. Once I have done this, I have a choice to go for synchronous mode where I arrange a Zoom session now at present because we can't meet our students face to face. And then I explain them the difference between the simple past and the present perfect. Here again, I have a choice whether to follow inductive method or the deductive method. That is again my choice. I need to understand the needs of my students. I personally prefer to follow the inductive approach while teaching any topic. After I have done this, I can simply test whether the students have understood the topic by sending them a test using Google Forms. Am I audible now, Prashant Mote sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Go ahead. Speak a little bit louder only.
Sure, sure.
That is. Okay.
So you can send them a test using Google Form. You can also send them some reflective topics where they need to speak, record themselves, or they need to write. Now these Google Forms will be self-explanatory. As soon as they submit the test, they will get their result and you will understand whether they have understood the topic very well or not. You can time this test. That within 30 minutes, you can close the response. It's again your choice. This is one lesson plan. This is the way I think I would do. But you can choose your own methods. You can choose your own tools. Like I prefer using Google Forms. You can use some other method of testing them. Now this is the second lesson plan. Music is a very effective means of communication. They say it is a language of soul. And students automatically become very comfortable the moment you expose them to songs and you try to use songs to teach them something. Now you can see this is a song by Katie Melua, If You're a Sailboat. What grammar concept do you think we can teach using this song? You can comment in the chat box. Yes, we can teach the second conditional. Before I explain it to them, I can just simply ask this pre-teaching questions to them. Did you enjoy the song? They would be very happy and they would say, yes, it is a love song. What kind of song it is it? What is the dominant grammatical structure used in the majority of the sentences? Can you identify it? Sometimes students simply say if.
Kindly switch off the fan.
Okay, sir, I'll do that. Just is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I hope
Okay,
my
ma'am.
speed is okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. You can pose questions like, is it a present real situation or imaginary situation? After these pre-teaching questions, you can send them a lesson either via synchronous mode or asynchronous mode, that the lesson about the second condition. Here, what we have done is we have used the inductive approach. You're exposing the students to the examples of correct language. We are encouraging them to observe the language usage and try to deduce their own rules. Then you're asking students to give their own examples. And at the end, step 5, you can ask them to, solve a test, or you can ask them to write something or speak something. For example, I may just give a topic like, if you had a time machine, if you're marooned on a deserted island, what 3 things you would take with you and why? So these things can be done. This is one more lesson. This is something that I did yesterday. I asked my students, call one of your classmates and talk about going shopping. Prepare a list of grocery items, vegetables, and other things that you need to purchase. Record your call and post your conversation on this group. Now I want them to revise and practice nouns and quantifiers. It is going shopping. So how do you talk about many, much, some, any, few, a few, little, a little? Now, what are the technical tools I've used here? Call record and WhatsApp. You can use pictures to teach present continuous. You can use this picture to teach, give your students practice in prepositions of place. Now, this is again this can be done in various ways, both online and offline. It is more better than that. My brother is elder than me. These are commonly made mistakes by our students, and I personally like to do it via a game. I've designed a game in our language lab where students play that game, and while playing the game, they learn correct usage of English grammar. Then it is followed by a discussion where they ask me questions and I clarify their doubts. You can see this cartoon like, I thought the event went good, and the grammarian is saying, well, went well. It's not went good, it's went well. But this year there were less people, no, fewer people, not less people, kind of. Things we can do using technology. Now, up to now, we were discussing the pedagogy. Now we are discussing technology. Before we go ahead with technology, I'd like to tell you that try to see the comfort level of your students. As we all know, we all are digital immigrants, and our students are digital natives. They are more well versed with technology than us. Sometimes they end up teaching us. I have learned so many things from my students. Even while doing the Zoom meeting, I didn't know many functions. They taught me those functions. So we need to understand the needs of our students and accordingly select our methodology and technical tools. If our students are of lower level, we would end up using some other method, some other tool. And if they're of advanced level, we will end up using some different method. Now, what things can we do using technology? Now, this is very important, how to use technology to create your own lessons. Now, what things we can do while teaching, like especially this particular period when we are connected with our students only via online, via internet. We share notes. I'm sure you all do. Excel, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF with the students. This is the first function. So we are expected to know how to connect hotspot, Bluetooth, how to send an email, how to send a WhatsApp, how to download a file, how to use Google Drive to share notes. As I said, every learner is not a visual learner. If you just send a PowerPoint PPT to your students, and then expect them to just read and understand, what about the auditory learners? What about the kinesthetic learners? They will not follow to the fullest. So you can even record audio notes for your students using sound recorder that is available on your mobile or laptop. You can share PowerPoint files where students can listen to your explanation for each slide. You can share PowerPoint files in such a manner where students can see and hear you explaining the slides. Now, this is creating kinesthetic approach. They can see you, they can hear you, so they get more involved with audio visual effect. You can record a video where the students can see you doing the board work and hear your explanation. You can even record a video of you explaining the content without the need of any board work or slides. This is for teachers who teach mathematics, maybe record a video of you solving a problem using paper. These are the various things that we can do using technology in order to reach our students and make them understand the concepts better. Now, as I said, you cannot just send a PowerPoint presentation just like that every time. So that would be a visual medium. Can we make it audio visual? I'll just try to explain you a simple tool. How can we audio or have a video recording of your PowerPoint presentation? There are various tools available, as you know, OBS, Screen-O-Matic, and a number of other tools. But I will share a very simple tool with you that is available to you on your laptop. That is your own presentation. Possible you have your own PowerPoint. I'm sure all of you have your own presentations. Open that presentation. I'll just show you. Now, this is my presentation that I made for one of the conferences. These are the screenshots. Go to File, click on File, click File. After you click File, go to Export. This is the third step. After Export, you'll see Create Video. Click Create Video. Once you click here, you will check these things, computer and HD displays. Don't record timings generation. Now we need to go here, select this HD computer displays and don't use recorded timings and narration. Let's see the next. Once you click on don't use recorded timings and narration, you have to click record timings and narrations because you're going to record yourself talking about the slides. Once you click there, you have to click start recording and you will start recording your slides. So as you go ahead, you will try to explain your slides. Now there is a small tip. Do not talk when you're going from one slide to the second slide. That doesn't get recorded. We have a habit. We go from one slide to the other slide. We keep talking. Explain the slide, stop, go to the next slide, and then talk. You can see here it's getting recorded. Once the entire PPT is over, you will see this window to click create video. Create video. Once you click create video, this will be save as. So I'm saving my file using music as MPEG-4 video. And I click on save. I click save. So let's do a recap. Very simple. You can take a screenshot of this particular slide if you want. How to create an audio video file from a PowerPoint presentation. Number one, go to File menu, click Export, then click Create Video. Then don't use recorded timings and narrations. There you have to click Record Timings and Narrations because you're going to record. Then click Start Recording. So your speech will get started. Start recording. Record your description for each slide. Create video. Save your file as MPEG-4 video. Now your file is ready. You can send your video presentation to your students. I hope you have understood and found it easy. It's very easy. Try to use it. teachers, we need to be involved with our students. We need to know what they understand, what are their needs. So there is a very famous quote by Benjamin Franklin: tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. So we need to find ways of involving our students. As I said, if you use the kinesthetic approach where the students are involved physically and mentally, automatically you're catering to the needs of the auditory and visual learners. That is precisely the reason why most of the ELT experts advise using the integrated approach, use listening, speaking, reading, writing, all four skills together to teach a grammar function. Why? Because when you use this integrated approach, you are catering to the needs of all types of learners. Now, when we are preparing all this material for our students learn, this is a synchronous mode. If at all you need to send them at their convenient time, we need to be very careful of one thing. Material producers advise us to follow the principle of chunking. What is chunking? You take one bite at a time. If you go to phonology, we divide a sentence into tone groups or sense groups. That is called chunking. So you will speak 3 or 4 words together, take a pause, and then 3 or 4 words. So you're breaking the sentence into parts. Similarly, we should break our topic into parts. Do not send them the entire topic in one go. They might lose interest. They may not find your 1 hour presentation very interesting, and they may not be able to be attentive. So if you see most of the online programs, they are divided, one topic is divided into different parts, different, for example, if you have to teach present tense, it will be divided into simple present tense, present continuous, present perfect progressive. You will not have one lesson entirely for present tense. So use the methodology of chunking. For example, I wanted to teach second conditional to my students. In my face-to-face session with good students, I may teach all 3 conditionals and 2 I wish constructions in one go, because I'm meeting them face-to-face, and I have many activities that I can use to make them understand the differences. But when I'm doing this online, I cannot send them the entire material in one go. I'll first send about first conditional, then second conditional, then third conditional. This is called chunking. I first explain them about simple past tense and then about present perfect, and then the difference between the two. This is called chunking. So when we are producing lessons for our students online, especially asynchronous mode, via asynchronous mode, where you're sending them material and they are going to view it at their end as per their convenient time, try to divide your topic into smaller bits so that they can take one bite at a time and they are interested in learning. Then you can follow this activity by an online live session with the students and revise the lessons with them. Thank you very much. And I end my presentation here. So thank you very much.
Hello. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir. I hope you liked it.
Yeah, I liked it so much.
Are there any questions? I
Yeah,
think we'll take
Prashant?
questions at the end.
Yes, sorry, there is some network issue here.
Okay.
May I invite Dr. Vishnu Patil to deliver his talk?
Oh, shall I start?
Yes, yes.
Oh, hello, everyone. Hello, madam. And good evening, all of you. I'm so happy to join you, and credit goes to Prashant for making this platform available for all of us. And Langlit has done this wonderful work of creating this knowledge resource for everyone in future for us to also to assess or access these videos for longer time. Today, actually, I have decided to talk on the area which I believe myself that will be very helpful for the listeners here. When Prashant told me to talk on, then I thought of talking on the project that I worked with the International Shaw Society, and they gave me scholarship for that. And these US people, they do not actually, without any reason or without having quality, they do not appreciate. So I believe that uh, if we can, if I can share my experience when here I share my PPT with you.
Yes, Lina ma'am, kindly stop your sharing.
I have done that. I have
Okay.
stopped shares.
Sure.
Yeah, it's uploading. Okay, so there is a question, and that all of us actually face from UG to PG, then our research times like MPhil and PhD, and then we start teaching. And the question is how to make use of everyday observation, everyday experiences into our research idea. And there are two problems actually that we face. First, we doubt ourselves whether this idea is actually worthy of writing on or being a part of a research idea. Or, and again, we think that whether this idea is new. I mean, people must have talked about it already. It is actually when I came back to India, and these people from International Shaw Society, they sent me a mail and they gave me 2 years honorary membership of the society. And the sentence used by Dietrich, the founding president of that my presentation they liked, and they said that this is the best of the Indians we have ever seen. Please do not consider that I am trying to boast myself or tell my this thing that I got these things, but no, I would like to tell you that these things that I learned from these people when they understood, they talked. Um, my presentation was assisted by them, and then I realized one thing: when we make these ideas and we present that, and after while presenting, how successfully we can make use of our ideas, these trends, the things we like, for example, from Plato to or Aristotle, Plato or Socrates to that we go up to new criticism, and then the rise of theory is there, and these ideas are there because we have already learned them very well. But once these things are done, we are again in doubt to implement all these ideas in our research model. So here exactly what I'm is to tell you how I did here, and when I'm talking about these ideas, actually these are the slides I used there. Here I am going to tell you how exactly I made use of certain ideas while presenting a typical idea. It is about G.B. Shaw's play, and the name of the play is Getting Married. And there, once to start with some humor so that everyone can get accommodated with you and have a kind of spatial tuning with you. I started with this, like why in Getting Married is a play by Shaw written in 1908. It's more than 100 years. Now I am applying contemporary ideas to this play. Now what happens here? Now I started with these images and said, why we end up in always in heartbreak house in as far as marriage is concerned. And then I started saying that when I approached my topic, and my topic was the the reality of virtual in getting married. Now, I am making use of this idea, that is virtual functioning in our day-to-day life, virtual functioning in marriages. For that, when I actually proposed this idea in the proposal, they were actually curious that what this man possibly can talk about virtual in day-to-day life, or virtual in marriage, or applying the reality of virtual in the play, which is 100 years or more than 100 years old. Then I made it very clear to them that virtual that we generally talk about is not the same idea that we have actually made to believe. So what I have to done is that I had to explain what virtual is. Then I quoted Zizek. Now virtual is something that is real effects produced by something that does not fully exist. Virtual is something actually it creates real effects, but it does not fully exist. And in our life, there are two biggest virtual. One is God, another is ghost. They do not fully exist, but they have real effect on us. Now what happens? To explain the ideas, now I'm simultaneously doing three things. Like here in my presentation, I'll be talking about how I used certain ideas from Zizek, Lacan, and then I came to a very famous statement by Rumsfeld, US military secretary. Now, while making use of these things, I am applying these ideas to the characters or the event that happens in getting married. But here, I think it is important before I start how I applied these ideas, I should give you a brief idea about the play. The play is about marriage, and there are few couples, few of them are getting married, some are trying to get married, some are already married, some have divorced, experienced. And then among all these, the question is how everyone thinks about marriage and how there should be, the end of the play, there should be a kind of systematic law for, liberating or bringing freedom to the laws regarding divorce in marriages. Otherwise, then how there are few certain threats experienced or expressed by the author also. Now, I started using first or taking idea from Lacan, as even quoted by Zizek. Lacan says in our life, see now how from a theoretical perspective I am taking the ideas. Lacan said that in our life only two types of realities exist. One is imaginary, that we imagine something and that's how it exists for us in real sense. Second is symbolic, and symbolic by Lacan, Lacan means that when the reality is already fixed, like a girl is born, now she cannot change many things because she's already born as a girl, and then she has to be a part of that, the reality already fixed. So that is, Lacan calls it symbolic. And the third thing he says, real, is actually the something that fights against these two, that exist as we can call it as a science principle. Now, extending this idea to imaginary virtual, symbolic virtual, and real virtual, how this exists in our day-to-day life. Like imaginary virtual, now I'm trying to do first what is imaginary virtual, giving the idea what it actually means, and then applying in the next slide to the play or certain issues in the play. Now, imaginary virtual means what? It means that we construct an image. Like if I'm talking to someone, or I'm talking to a new person, or I'm talking to a person, suppose I'm talking to Prashant. Actually, I'm not talking to the original Prashant. I'm talking to the image of Prashant because I have created an image of him. In our day-to-day life, we create an image of someone and we deal with that image. and that is actually imaginary virtual. Then what happens here? Erasure of abstract from the image happens. Like, suppose I'm talking to you, but I'm not talking real you, I'm talking to the image of you that I have created. And then there are certain things like Prashant is there, he has um, other things like in our day-to-day life that we like heroes or heroines, but they do have their own problems. They are also sentimental, or they do mistake, they commit mistakes and all that. But we erase that abstract from the image, and we have only that image which is beautiful or handsome. And then that creates reality for us. That simply means when we have this kind of image creation, which is virtual, now we start dealing with that, and most of the problems that we face, they originate from this. Now, this is happening with the images or the characters in the play. Now, Lesbia is always saying no to the character of General. General is after her for many years, but she says that he smokes, and that smoking, that smell is irritating for me. Now, Lesbia has formed General's image, and that image is virtual, and that she is dealing with that. And that image, though it's not completely true, but that is creating reality, and that has in turn impact on Lesbia. Now, see, that is also happens in our day-to-day life. Now, if we see that some person in our life, if we have a very good image of that person, so there are certain mistakes done by that person, we are ready to forgive him for that. Why? Because that image is that strong. If the image is not that good, his good works is also is not counted so well. So this imaginary virtual creates such kind of impact that has actually in actuality the impact on our action. The same thing happens with Collins. Collins think that his wife doesn't know many men, that's why she is illiterate about human relationship. Or Leo's image of Reginald and Hotchkiss. Leo's husband is Reginald, and she thinks that husband is not that much romantic, and her lover Hotchkiss is very romantic. But at the same time, the images she creates about these both the persons are so tangible, they are so weak, and that's the quality of imaginary virtual. Then, when we look at this symbolic virtual, now how symbolic virtual functions in our life. Symbolic, I told already that Lacan said that it is already the prefixed reality that actually governs our many of the ideas. Like a man becomes man because he is a part of that patriarchal society, and a woman becomes woman, like she is not born. Then this paternal authority also is a symbolic, like we have a system already at place, that is marriage or family institution. Then this patriarchy is there where a man gets actually a kind of authority to control other family members, or like wife. The authority has to be virtual in order to be operative or effective. Now here, we have to make use of this spatial feature of virtual. Virtual remains virtual only it is virtual. If it is actualized, it loses its effect. Now this is very interesting. Now, when actually there is a house and the kids are playing there, and they break a something like a toy or a glass, and parents are sitting there. When parents are sitting there, they're already actually feeling the problem, the control by paternal authority, the parents' control. And they feel that the parent should actually react to this. But that virtual control is stronger. But once a father shouts at the kid feels relieved. He feels that no, this is better. He should come or beat me or abuse or scold me. But he should not be silent, because that virtual uh, control is stronger than the actualization of self. So the quality of virtual is it should be virtual in order to be effective or retain its efficacy. Now, when we talk about symbolic virtual in another level, that our beliefs also are virtual. Here, nobody believes. Like, I do not believe, but I believe someone to believe like this. Like, I believe my daughter should, she loves me. I believe that she believes so. So in this level, everybody presupposes others to believe, and what happens is that on these levels of presupposition and belief, a kind of virtual comes to existence. And then if we apply this idea to the play there, now Colin says that about his wife and Mrs. George. Now, about his wife, he says she never known any man but me, and she can't properly know me because she don't know other men to compare with me. Now, he believes that she doesn't believe like that way. Now, here the question is that his belief has already formed a kind of virtuality, and then he says about Mrs. George that she enriched herself with the knowledge of different male. Now, he presupposes that this is the idea about sexual knowledge, and that is understanding and being mature in that sense. Now, here, symbolic sense of symbolic virtual, lesbia is saying no to general all the time for marriage. She is not accepting him. Now, why general is always hopeful that lesbia will understand his proposal? Here it runs from his belief that why now in day-to-day life we feel that why boys or some people in offices or college, how do they dare to abuse someone or propose someone or dare that level? Actually, it is the chain of presupposition that they believe that she believes that she would say yes, and there are many other virtual things that go into like our movies, and in movies certain things happen like that. Now when we talk about these things, like how presupposition and a chain of presuppositions, and we do not presuppose, we do not believe ourselves, but we expect others to believe, and that chain has a real impact on us. And here one thing that is not actually understood is that the problem faced by lesbia, actually she is suffering from a trauma because she has got a lot many bad experiences from men, and that has made her not say no to him. Now this is not understood because this presupposition or her trauma is not even known to her. Now lesbia says that yeah, I know that I'm not actually. And how can we understand her trauma when she says that I know many people and many sages, princes, archangels, and so fascinating rascals, but I know actually what is actually real man to see. And then this actually has already given us idea that, like Sigmund Freud says, that there are certain things that go into our psyche and they form a problem, and they are so deep inside in our brain, in our mind, that they operate within your mind, but you cannot understand this I'm going to relate with another kind of communicative things. Now this problem here, why I'm connecting this lesbia's trauma and here, now where does this problem happen? When general is thinking, presupposing that she should believe or she will agree to get married with him, but she is saying no, and the whole play comes to an end, but lesbia is not ready to marry him. The reason that he doesn't understand, the reason that she doesn't understand, they are found from the idea, especially um, we can go for we can go to the ideas of Freud or Lacan or Zizek for that matter, or one more book that I'll be referring to later. Now, what is happening here? Trauma as dense raw presence of real. What happens in your brain, in your mind, in a psyche? Trauma remains. Like suppose in childhood you are abused. That trauma, Sigmund Freud says that it remains as a raw presence. See, I'm making use of ideas by Sigmund Freud and how I am using these ideas to analyze this character. And you got to believe me, believe in me one thing, for one thing, that is when I was using this idea and I wanted to have certain secondary material, as we famously say. I could not get it anywhere, but when I used it here, that her trauma or these kind of things, like we have to understand from the statements made by the characters, how certain word, usage of word, like there are many, and how I got this idea. Actually, there are more than 200 or more than actually 500 essays that I have seen only deal with Hamlet and his psychological problems. And there, how they have talked about different words or even uh, a single word, and they made such a beautiful analysis of it. Now, what is happening here? The trauma in her mind, it remains as a raw presence of real. And this presence of something brutally intrudes into our symbolic space and curbs it. Now, what happens? What happens in a child when it faces a kind of abuse in childhood? Now, that actually intrudes our symbolic space and curves it. It actually completely changes it. And Freud and Wolfman says that it not only does do that, it also resuscitated of the symbolic space, means it also has the capacity to affect it in after a lot of years or a certain duration. Now, the disturbance or imbalance of symbolic space, it creates a problem. Now, why in our day-to-day life, why certain people are not able to take a right decision or go for a choice that is very obvious? It actually, for them, appears as a threat. Now, this threat is not understood by the other person. Now, I wanted to make use of this book, but I admit that this book by Giles Deleuze, and the name of the book is Difference and Repetition. Now, what he says, yeah, I wanted to make use of many other ideas presented by, but it's so complex. I would also request you, all of you, to read this book. Now, here I took certain help from Deleuze. He said that Freud definitely showed how pregenital sexuality consisted of partial drives deducted from the exercise of self-preservative drives. Such a derivation presupposes the constitution of objects which are themselves partial and which functions as so many virtual centers, so many poles, always doubled with sexuality. Now, that definitely works with sexuality. Of course, this sexual predominance is always there as far as Freud is concerned. Now, Collins and how he has prepared this. Now, I would skip this part and I go to other, because these are the ideas that now so far we saw that how I made use of imaginary virtual and symbolic virtual. Now I have kept that the real virtual at the last slide. Now I'll make use of I'm using this idea. Now here what happens in day-to-day life. Now only two ideas that I made in use of these two ideas to analyze the text. One was Lacan's three registers, and second was a famous statement made by Donald Rumsfeld. And he said, he was asked that you destroyed Iraq, but nothing was found there. That you proposed that there are weapons of mass destruction or there are biological weapons. Then Donald Rumsfeld replied, he said that, Mr. Correspondent, in this world, things happen on three levels. Known, yeah, he actually mentioned three levels. Known, like I know that I know. Like Saddam Hussein is the president of Iraq, we know that we know. Known, unknown, that we know that we don't know. That he said that we know or we knew where are there are weapons of mass destruction, but we did not know where and how many. And third thing is unknown. We don't know that we don't know. And then Zizek adds in this line, he says that there is fourth category, which is very important, that we do not know that we know. That is unknown, known. We do not know that we know. Now, how many things actually really happens in that way? Now, going to the other side, now what is happening here? Then what I did, when these things happen like that, that there are things in this world. One is known. I know that I know. I know that I don't know. I don't know that I don't know. And I don't know that I know already. Now, I applied these ideas to the play. And for that, I have to observe every character so well to fit his activities, his essence into this, because I cannot leave a loophole in the ideas that I am connecting and presenting here. Now, known. Reginald actually divorced his wife, giving a bad excuse because he knew that his wife doesn't like him. Now, Collins, he knows that he does not know. Now, he knows that Mrs. Collins, his brother's wife, she is very knowledgeable, but he doesn't know how. How in the sense, like what are the other experiences, exact experiences that made her so authoritative. Now, unknown, the real couple who is getting married in this play is Edith and Cecil, and they at the end of the play they say that we are not ready to get married to each other because we read a pamphlet, and in pamphlet says that there is risk in getting married, because before they read the pamphlet they had no clue, no idea about what they are doing, that is getting married. Now, what happens here is unknown is happening, that they do not know that they do not know. And then what happens when they come to know certain things? Now, Lesbia and Leo, these two women, one which is trauma, I just talked, and Leo, who wants to actually have relationship with both the male. Now, how known function, and this is the most important category here, and that needs to be understood very well. Now, what is happening here? Unknown is there. You actually do not know that you know. When there is a trauma, your psyche knows it, your mind knows it, that something is there, but you do not know that you know. And actually, you suddenly start feeling that you start resisting the things, but you do not know what is happening. Actually, you do not know that you know the basic reason of it. Like in unconscious, all the memories are there, but we do not know that we know. Now, what happens when we do not know something that we know? Then it controls you rather than you controlling it. And then, see, I am making use of these ideas, the statement made by Rumsfeld, then one level added by Zizek, and then applying to Lesbia and Leo. Now, what is happening? Now, I am trying to show with this picture that how we are already in a symbolic space controlled to a kind of already fixed reality. And then Bishop says that I have told our last Prime Minister that they do not make our marriage laws reasonable. If they do not make, there would be a strike against marriage, and that would be begin among the proper tiered classes where no government would dare to interfere with it. So relevant for today's time also. And then this symbolic space that is so fortified, so strong, that has to be actually inquired or investigated. It is said at that time also. Now I'm coming to the last point. Now I said symbolic or imaginary virtual. Now it's real virtual. And actually, when we talk about scientific inquiries like black hole or Big Bang theory, the reality has to be understood virtually. A teacher of physics cannot come and show you that this is how black hole functions. Now, this is the real virtual is also has to understood the virtual, the highest part of science has to be understood virtually. And then the real virtual functions as they come with the idea of legal contract before getting married, vows of celibacy or poverty, or wise to die. These are the ideas proposed about how a secure marriage can happen. But these are virtual because they cannot be actually their what do you say, their longevity or their guarantee cannot be assessed. Or some also mention the parthenogenesis, like self reproduction, which is also actually imagined reality. Or this imagined reality could be connected with what um, Sapiens, in the book Sapiens, the writer says. Now, I'm coming to the last point where Shaw creates virtual. He creates characters and possibilities. They themselves, the characters and the possibilities are virtual, and we deal with that. Out of the character that implies certain virtual, and they actually imply. G.B. Shaw was very particular at that. He calls this play as a disquisitory play. Means it is actually a detailed essay type or detailed kind of writing on the idea of marriage. And then in the beginning of, in the preface, Shaw says, gives us certain ideas that before reading this play or watching this play, the reader should have these things in mind. Because when he says that, actually he also tries to create a virtual for every viewer to have that already, like presupposing or kind of belief constructed. And then he says that that should be this is how that should be watched. So this is how the whole idea is uh, uh, handled by Shaw, and how I could analyze certain topics, certain issues in that play. Here I finish with, and I complete this with saying that the simple idea of marriage and how there is virtual functions, and this virtual I apply to this play about marriage. And there are two levels, like Lacan's idea, and I connected with certain characters and their behavior. And then at the another level, I went for, if you see, I went for the famous statement, and then I connected with even psychological analysis or psycho. I'm just say to to talk. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Hello.
Hello. Ha, Prashant,
Now the
can you hear
session.
me?
Now the yes, yes. Now the session is open for question answer. Lina ma'am, can you see a few questions in Q&A?
Yes, I can see the question, sir.
Okay.
One. Can we? How can we increase interest of vernacular medium students of learning various grammar functions through technology?
Okay.
Diksha Kadam has asked this question.
Okay.
And one person has asked, ma'am, could you shed light on how to teach grammar through songs? Dr. Nair Jahan has asked this question. Now,
Okay, I answer one by one.
Yes, I was just trying to check the questions. Now, how can we increase the interest of vernacular medium students learning various grammar functions through technology? There are quite a few things that we can do. We need to make the students comfortable with the grammar functions, most important. So you can always send, as I said, we can send them material. You can teach them online, offline. You can send them some tips. And if you just send one tip at a time, that is going to help them more than sending the entire lesson. For example, if you usually we observe that students, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Prashant sir, yes.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Usually, students make a mistake of introducing themselves as myself, Leena Zadhav. Now, what's wrong with myself, Leena Zadhav? If we ask them, okay, is this the correct expression? Many of them are going to say, yes, it is the correct. Some of them will say, no, it is not the correct expression. Why isn't it the correct expression? And then there can be a discussion. Ask them to find out, and they will find out. And there would be some students in the class who would come up with the explanation that, yes, myself is a reflexive pronoun and it cannot be used as the subject. So we need to have I in the sentence to have myself in the sentence. For example, I looked at myself in the mirror. I cannot say myself Leena Zadhav. I have to say I am Leena Zadhav or my name is Leena Zadhav. Through such simple activities, you can generate curiosity among students about learning language. Try to associate with their current life. Like I should be eating pizza, should manufacture how fun is the picture? They will say something, kind of. They will write something on your window. I hope I have answered that questions. You can make
Yes.
use of, in fact, there are quite a few sites. If you Google a little bit, you can even send those things. There is a very nice site. It's not specifically related to grammar, but as I said, we need to use an integrated approach. ESL-lab. If you go to this site, there are various conversations and grammar functions are explained, tabs explained. You have the conversation in front of you people. You can listen to the conversation. Quite a few things you can do. So that this is going to improve their, enhance their curiosity and interest in learning English language, not only grammar, language in general. Now, could you share your screen Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes. Now.
Yes. There is a question. Yes. How to teach grammar through songs? Yes. We need not use a song to teach the entire grammar function. We can use it in between to give them some practice. You can use it as a pre-teaching activity or post-teaching activity. And then we can have some other activities also along with that. For example, the song that I showed you, if you were sailboat, it talks about second conditional. We can ask them to make some questions related to imaginary situations in the present time. They could simply say that if I were in college now, I would learn from you face to face. But the reality is we are in lockdown and they're learning from me online. If you had a time machine or if you had a magic lamp, what would you ask the genie? Simple such creative questions can be asked, and they should be they can ask these questions they can answer these questions whenever they can think, and they can respond to your activities online whenever they have time. Like somebody has asked a very nice question: how what's the best method to teach grammar for L2 learners? Here we have a feeling that students do not know grammar. They know grammar, they know language. We need to make them understand that they know English. We can give them some activities where they are interacting with their friends, and they're interacting, and that interaction is going to make them more comfortable with the language and the entire communication process. I'll give you a very simple example. There is an activity called Know Your Classmates, where you are dividing students into in pairs, and they are talking to each other about each other. They ask some questions and they try to know about each other. And then at the end of the activity, they will be introducing their partner. Now, most of the activity involves the use of simple present tense, simple past tense, and they will try to do it. And in the process, you can also help them whenever they have a problem. they can call you, or you can be there to assist them.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Vishnu sir, you don't have a single question. You clearly explain your theory. Thank you very much, Dr. Leena Jadhav, ma'am, for your talk on using technology to teach English grammar. It was
Thank you very
fruitful.
much for it.
It was wait a minute. So that it was fruitful, comprehensive, and highly informative. And thank you very much, Dr. Vishnu Patil, sir, for your delightful and insightful talk on analyzing text in contemporary context, a practical approach. We all have enjoyed and learned a lot from you, both of you. Thank you very much, one and all, for your active participation by logging Zoom, and those who are watching on YouTube channel and made this lecture series a grand success. See you tomorrow at 11 p.m. for two interesting topics by well-known academicians, Dr. Kamlakar Bhatt. He is an associate professor at the PG Department of English, Ahmednagar College, Ahmednagar. He will talk on actor network theory and literary studies. Very interesting topic. And there is another well-known academician, Dr. Urmila Dabir. She is a chairman, BOS, RTM, means Rashtra Sant Tukaram Maharaj, Nagpur University, Nagpur, will speak on Asian literature in focus, the vegetarian. Kindly keep in touch. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, uh, that is Langley's Educator, so that you will get further notifications. Let's share knowledge and grow together. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much,
Thank
Vishnu.
you, sir. Thank you, participants. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. I'm ending
Bye.
this meeting now. Okay, bye.